everybody, welcome to another episode of Director's Commentary on Wolfpack Hustle. I'll keep this short. It's really good to see you. I'm so glad you are watching these and I hope you're enjoying them. That being said, let's dive right into it. Thanks. All right, so we are starting off the episode with the end of a game, like we've done before. Pretty big win. 20 points, starting off with a little positivity. This is the final episode, I believe, of the regular season. The two episodes that are that happen after that are postseason. One is the ACC tournament and one is the NCAA tournament. Yeah, spoilers. We get into the NCAA tournament this year.
Okay, and you could be special if you continue to build.
So, personally, when I'm kind of in a rut, I'm always looking for a way out. And sometimes I have to force that way out. Sometimes I take a step back and look at some stuff. One of the things that helps is kind of a change over time.
I think you need to finish strong.
What I mean by that is that for these months, these 8 months that I've been working on these shows, it kind of burn out. Hit February. February is kind of for me like a little rough, and into March, like I've been doing this for so long. Like how do I keep things fresh? Like what do I do? The thing that always boosts me a little bit more is like right at the end of a season, because you have an episode and some games that feature seniors. Like it's their last time they're going to put on a Wolfpack uniform. And that's really special because it's something that they've worked toward, and it's the end of something and the start of something new. And so at that point, like I'm kind of making the episode for them because this is their last episode. That's how I treat it, is that they're the stars of the show, and I have to send them out on a high note as best I can. And then, depending on the way the schedule lines up, you might have the opportunity. For two postseason episodes, like with this current season that we're watching right now. We have an episode on the ACC tournament coming up. That's special because you could win the whole thing or you lose and you're done. And then if you're fortunate enough to get into the NCAA tournament, that's another instance where you lose and you're out, or you win and you keep winning. And there's just like there's an elevated importance, an elevated meaning that goes into those episodes. Even if you don't make the NC tournament, even if you don't even make the NCAA tournament, even if you make something like the NIT, like that's still a postseason tournament. That's still final opportunities for players to compete with their current school, with their current team. So yeah. Sometimes that's like a hits refresh button. Like you have a whole new reason to make these episodes. But I'll jump on that when we actually get to those episodes 15 and 16. So for now, let's stick with chapter 14.
Let's go. Right there. Let's go. Yo, get down. Here we go. The voice is going early. Get him going early. Let's go. With this particular group, I've tried to keep the pressure off of those guys and more put it on us as a coaching staff. So I don't try to put them in pressure situation, meaning away from the basketball court. During practice, I put them in a situation where they have to respond during pressure and game situations. But as far as all the NCAA talk,
after all the practices I've been to over a number of years and a number of sports and a number of teams, practice is always tougher than the game. And I feel like that's what you want it to be. Like that's how you are become conditioned to playing in those important moments. You just go really hard in practice, and whether that's an intensity level, whether it's you practice for a longer amount of time than a game actually is, like that usually has a lot to do with it.
in transition, and obviously
And for
you want to secure the win.
a videographer, it can be practice too, like practice following the ball. Get your practice reps in so you are ready for the game with your camera. So it all,
Hands have got to be a little bit more
it's all
active.
cyclical.
Hands are not
It's all,
active.
it's all,
They're not getting enough to
it's
play.
all part of the same,
What kind of offense is that?
same
Well, you catch the
pattern.
ball on the wing and we pitch it and go. That ain't a drag. We never run a drag like that. That's one stop. Look here. Cut, Titty. Good move if it goes. Good job. I stopped it. If I didn't stop it, I'd take the full one.
I love an over the shoulder shot. Like that's probably something that, I mean, I've done this enough that I can recognize my own tendencies. I love an over the shoulder shot because you get to see.
Do that. Go ahead. Go.
Oh, God. Looks like Coach Keats messed up, got a negative mark on the board, so he's got to run some suicides.
I think so many coaches, make mistakes and not do that.
But anyway, with a shot like that, with an over the shoulder, you have the opportunity to
Get out in transition. We play full court.
see what the individual is looking at, as well as kind of a profile reaction to what they're looking at. It's kind of neat when you can do that just with one shot. Is show two different things happening from two different perspectives. A lot of people might use like a diopter shot, and that's when two things are in focus but are at different points of depth in the shot. And diopter shots always bug me because that's not how the eye works. But a lot of cinematographers and directors can manipulate that image using a diopter lens to have two things in focus where one of them should be in focus and not the other. It bothers me sometimes, but sometimes it works. Just a little pet peeve.
We have made this a habit now.
Not going to knock it too much.
We have made it a habit, man. We play hard, which is a habit. We play with a lot of effort, and we have fun. Let's go.
Georgia Tech. It's always fun to go to Atlanta. I love Georgia Tech's basketball pep band. They play some of the best music. For those of you that listen to Snarky Puppy or Youngblood Brass Band, they'll play some stuff from them, and that really gets my juices flowing. I have a lot of respect for a band that tries to play something by those wonderful jazz and brass bands. If you don't know who I'm talking about, go look it up. Snarky Puppy and Youngblood Brass Band. I highly recommend you guys check them out. They're good. Anyway, back to the game. It's kind of a cool arena. The court is lit up and everything else around it is dark. So when you're watching it on TV, see, it looks kind of dark on the edges there, as opposed to other arenas where kind of everything is lit up. This one really focuses their lighting on the court, on the show, which I think is really cool. It gives it this spectacle atmosphere, which basketball can be that. And then, I remember this. That was some bullshit. TV Teddy giving Torin Dorn, one of the nicest guys on the face of the planet, a technical foul for just shrugging his shoulders and acting frustrated. So stupid. That was so dumb. Yeah, this is a wise message from Coach Keats based off of that foul and a couple other things. But listen, don't react to any of that. Don't worry about anything that they're saying. Just worry about playing the game. Oh, man, I forgot about that. I remember in that moment, I was just so confused as to why that technical foul occurred. So I just kept filming. And luckily, the TV cameras were able to capture further footage of Ted Valentine initiating that call. So that gave me an opportunity to adequately show the call, as well as frustration and emotion from the players and coaches. I think that the stars kind of aligned to, I think, adequately showcase the frustration in the moment. Even though the foul, to me, was still unclear as to why the technical foul actually occurred. I like to think I'm fairly unbiased after covering like a non-fiction series like this. Now, I do have allegiances to NC State, both because I went to that school and obviously I'm making a show for them. But I like to think that I showcase a little bit of impartiality, where it's like, oh, that foul was called on NC State, and I think, yeah, that probably was a foul. And there are other moments where I'm genuinely confused. But yeah, it's my job not to show too much bias, because again, this is an NC State show for NC State fans. So you want the target audience is NC State fans, or NC State prospective NC State fans, or student athletes, or whatever, parents, whoever. So you want to lean a little bit toward a favorable light, but you also want to be real about the things that happen. So, and I think part of the things that happen is like you're showing frustration. You're not calling anything out. You're just showing that something happened, and then the reaction, the honest reaction to that thing. Speaking of the technical foul. I can't thank y'all enough for checking out this episode of Director's Commentary. If you are enjoying what you are watching and you want to help support some of the stuff that I'm making, I would deeply, deeply be humbled if you considered becoming a patron. You can check out the Patreon link in the description below. Becoming a patron comes with all kinds of cool perks, and it helps me make more stuff, both in quality and in quantity, and it really would just mean the world to me. Okay. Please resume watching.
Let's go, man. We didn't play a great first half at all. Okay? First 5 minutes we did, 15 minutes we did. Let's turn it up to another level. Okay? You just gotta be better than them for 20 minutes. Okay? And like I tell you every game, just win the half.
A lot of times what I'll do when I'm filming is, it's very much a documentary style camera thing, when you're constantly adjusting the framing of your shot. Like you might start wide when someone is talking, and then at one point just quickly zoom in a little bit just to add a little bit of emphasis to a line, emphasis to a moment, emphasis to a facial reaction. And I like that. I personally am a big fan of that. And I think that kind of camera work is instituted in fictional shows as well. You have mockumentaries like The Office, Parks and Rec, Abbott Elementary. You also have shows like, I think the first show to actually do it, if I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry. The first show to actually institute this kind of documentary style filming in a fictional narrative capacity was The Shield. It used to air on FX back in the early 2000s. Succession is another show that does it as well. That's currently on. I just find it kind of fascinating. I mean, it has its place. Like, that's not the default way you want to film things every single time. I just enjoy when the camera work is kind of a character itself, without it becoming too distracting from what's happening. Yeah, the end of this game was bananas. I do remember this is just, it was insane. Hard to kind of, I don't think I did necessarily, I didn't do a bad job of covering the end of this game, but I definitely could have done a better job of covering the exact moments of this game. But having these moments kind of play out right here without interruption, I think helps to it. But excuse me, I think helps it. But yeah, tough loss there.
I think some of our guys really like the pressure, and some of them don't want to have it, and it's up to.
And so there's no real.
Which guys can't. mostly when you get into this,
if I remember correctly, there's no real interview, special interview feature for this episode. We very much relied on a mic'd up segment. And then with a senior night game, we draw that out a little bit more because, yeah, we're showing the game, but we're showing everything around it. Like moments right here where we have student assistants, managers, GAs, just support staff members that are students. It's also their senior night. It's their last time they're out going to be on the home court. And then obviously the players too. And we have this opportunity to showcase, like really like showcase, they're walking out with their families to get their framed jersey. We've got Coach Keats talking about them as well. I feel like we gave it adequate amount of time to show everybody some love.
Pressure off of those guys as seniors while bringing them off the bench and having those guys come in the game and really affect the game by their energy, their rebounding, how hard they play on the defensive end.
Senior night's always
that these guys
emotional.
Play as hard as they can for the school, and obviously you want them to go on and be successful. So it's tough.
I think it's more emotional than a football senior night because a football senior night, there's just more seniors. There's more people you have to recognize, and you have to do it in a short amount of time. So you have to kind of do it on rapid fire. With basketball, you have a little bit more time to appreciate the individual moments of those players getting recognized, of those student managers getting recognized. So.
Lays it up, rolls off the rim, no good. Ball tipped outside. Al Freeman's got it for State. 2 on 3. Pass ahead to Dorn. Fast break layup, good.
You turn the energy up, they'll struggle right now because their energy's low. Give me some energy plays right here.
Hands off to McMahon. McMahon driving, loops it in for
That's kind of nice dunk.
Tomahawk jam. 18-15. Louisville leads. Sink and Phil man-to-man to Beverly. Long 3 ball. Good from the right side. Braxton Beverly. Adele off the Spalding screen. Going to take it all the way to the basket. Hanks fires a wild runner off.
Wow, that was difficult.
Guarded by McMahon. He's going to drive into the basket and lays it up. Got it. Goes back to Perry and a pick and pop. The big 6'11" guy fakes. Won't shoot from the corner. Out of Perry with 5 to shoot. Perry is
what's happening? I love a good shot clock violation. There's always a ton of energy when that happens from everybody. It doesn't happen that often, but it's a lot of fun when it does.
Johnson gives to Yurt 7. He'll fire for a 3. Got it straight on 3. Ball knocked away from behind by Mahmoud. Stolen by Adele. Adele down the floor to King. Goes to the basket, scores. Hunt outside to Al Freeman again. Freeman left to the key. He'll rise. He'll fire for 3. Swish! He got it over Darius Perry.
You got to find a second gear.
Oh, it's a close game. I don't realize how close it was at half.
You got to kick it into second and third gear in the second half, which I know that they probably don't have like we do. So you got to do a great job. You got to push through some stuff and all that other stuff. You did what you're supposed to do. You turned them over. You played pretty good. Okay, we got a lot of guys got a lot of deflections. Al's got 4. Kel's got 4. Lenard's got 4. We got 7 right here. LBJ, you got to get 1. Sam Hunt, you got to get 1. TD, you got to get a lot more than that. If we do this part of it, they'll turn the ball over 25 times or more. Okay, so you got to do a better job with your energy in the second half.
Clears it to Snyder. Snyder drives the top out right to Dengadell. Fires and hits a 3. Louisville leading. Here's Yurt 7 off the pass from Johnson. Shoots for 3 and he hits from the top. Underneath the basket. Maintains the dribble. Curls back in the lane. Gives to Dorn. Shot up good. Now top of the key to Freeman. Drives the lane. Left hand layup. Good by Al Freeman. Sutton puts his head down. Drives the lane. Kicks it back to King for a long range 3-pointer. Good. Adele drives against the smaller Beverly. Layup good.
Touch them there sometimes. Stop being so soft and let guys get to the hole.
Off his hands. Picked up by Sutton. His layup won't go. Under pressure. Loose ball outside. Al Freeman picks it up, and he's on the run. Here's Al down the floor. Ahead to Dorn.
Oh, didn't even see that pass happen. That was good.
Drives to his right. 15 to shoot. Diagonal pass to Hunt. Long 3. Good from the left side. Driving. Throws to an open McMahon. Jump shot in the air for 3. He missed it long. Rebound to Booth.
I love reactions so much.
On the right wing. Curls down the lane. He goes.
It's just fun.
Double team, triple team.
You see someone smile, you smile, Somebody must have been really close to me, or no, they must have been right behind the radio guys, because you hear that guy go, whoa, like you hear him go scream often. He must be screaming loud for it to come through on that mic and sound overmodulated and distorted.
Underneath, the Spalding jams in one hand. 6 foot against 7 foot. Here's Beverly going to drive. Scoop to the hoop. Good by Beverly. Thorne fakes right, goes left to the elbow. Now backs it out with 10 to shoot. Now he'll drive down the lane, lays it up left-handed. Good. Here's Johnson
Smooth.
driving left wing all the way to the basket. Layup good. 44
Smooth again.
Adele drives down the lane. Gives it off to Perry for a 3-point shot. Right wing.
I do, yeah, there was a player for Louisville whose last name was Adele, and I remember Tony Haynes, one of the radio guys, making an Adele reference, but I'm pretty sure it flew over Gary Hahn's head.
Knife his way to the basket. He puts it up, blocked by Yurtseven. Johnson gets the ball, spins forward, backcourt foul. Thorne will run the baseline. He gets it into Al Freeman in the corner. They try to double team him. 0.8 seconds remaining. Second free throw. Good again. Ball inbounded, and State wins on senior night here in Raleigh. 76-69.
Nice.
What a season for the Pack.
So they have opportunities like this too, where
Here for all of us, and when I say all of us, this is everybody's team in the city.
like this doesn't happen. This happens once a year, so it's important to capture it
I personally
and definitely show it too.
thank all you guys for getting behind this team.
That's because it's Coach Keats' first year. It's the fact that this team has been up and down, but there's anticipation about have they done enough to get into the NCAA tournament. And then the seniors speak as well.
My seniors, this is our last time here in PNC. So many memories here. You know, I started here as a kid and, you know, slightly a grown man now, getting old. I just want to thank you guys for everything, man. You guys made a lot of my dreams come true and have some of my best moments here on this floor. So that's up to you guys, man. Thank you so much.
My recruiting, when I first came here, my mom, she wanted me to go to Nova, and but when I came here, the fans showed so much love, and I felt so much at home. I had to come here and love the I think anytime that, you know, you're in a system and you don't know a lot of people and there's a lot of pieces come together when you talk about the fact that we're a new staff, and then I added some pieces and then some guys who returned. I think in order to be successful,
Can never go wrong with just showing
trusting each other.
all of the hugs.
Though I won't have all those guys,
Like they don't
my hope
get old, really.
one of those guys have the opportunity to play professional.
Like you can get the point, but it's a nice thing to see. It definitely is a thing to overuse sometimes, and yet it won't feel like you're filling for time because it's like a nice positive emotion you're witnessing.
We're close, and you know it's developed over the season. You know, it wasn't that way.
Yeah, any moment I can get, if I just see a hug happening, I'll film it. High fives, I'll film it. Any kind of jumping up and down reaction. That's just good, feel good stuff,
As a team, and I think
especially for a senior night episode. Thank y'all so much for watching today. If you have any comments or questions about what you saw, please feel free to leave them in the comments section, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you enjoy these videos and you want to stay up to date on other directors' commentaries or other videos I do put out, go ahead and hit subscribe, as well as ringing the bell so you get a notification every time I do make something new. And if you want to further support the stuff that I'm making, I would be so humbled if you considered becoming a patron. Becoming a patron comes with all kinds of cool perks, even outside of director's commentaries. Yeah, but that's about it. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.